Hi everyone, welcome to day 2 of Printful Threads Volume 2. To those of you just tuning in for the first time, Printful Threads is Printful's very own online conference for online business owners. To those of you who joined us yesterday or maybe back in early May for Printful Threads Volume 1, welcome back. To those of you who haven't heard from me yet, my name is Marianna and I'm going to be your Printful Threads host for today and tomorrow. Once again, in light of everything that's going on and in the world we live in right now, we're excited to be here. We're happy that you're here with us, and we're super grateful for all your support. And if you want to know what we're up to and how we're doing, you can always check in with our Printful COVID-19 page, printful.com/COVID-19. But as you know, we're looking into the bright future. That's why this edition of Printful Threads is dedicated to marketing and for the things that lie ahead later in the year. So it's called Marketing Crash Course for E-commerce Stores. As you know, the holiday season, the busiest season of the year for retail, from e-commerce to brick and mortar and everything in between, is huge. And with Halloween and Thanksgiving just around the corner, we want to give you guys some prep and some tips and just get you thinking all about that good stuff to come. So this conference is split into 3 days, as you have already heard and noticed. And each day we're going to have 3 speakers and a Q&A session at the end of each day. So yeah, today and tomorrow left. And a heads up that there's going to be a short 5-minute break before speaker number 3. So 3 days, 3 speakers per day, 3 themes. Yesterday, our fantastic speakers gave us tips on how to pick your audience and create your first marketing strategy. There was a lot of talk about niches and things. And today, the topic is all about exploring the most effective marketing strategy. So we're going to be going a bit deeper. And then that leaves us logically with 1 day left, day 3, with the topic being how to scale your business and create meaningful campaigns. Sounds pretty good, right? Yeah, so this is what we have for you today. A short little list of all our fantastic speakers. Can't wait for you guys to check it all out. And this is the order in which they're going to appear. We're going to start off with Alex, so I hope he's all getting ready and getting super pumped as we are. But before we get to Alex, I wanted to remind you about our Printful Threads contest and some other stuff we have going on. As for the contest, every day of the conference, we're going to draw 5 lucky winners who are participating in this lottery to win a $10 Printful coupon to use on the printful.com site to order custom swag of your liking. And how to participate. So basically, post a learning or takeaway from the conference so far any day. Could be yesterday, something that just popped into your head while you were, having your morning coffee, or anything that you find interesting today. So post that on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, or a public Facebook page. Mind you, that's a public Facebook page and not a private Facebook profile, so pay attention to that. So you got your takeaway, add the hashtag Printful Threads, and keep sharing all that good stuff until midnight of the 4th of September, Eastern Time. And every day we'll draw the lucky 5 and get in touch with them privately. Easy, right? So hashtag Printful Threads, share all your learnings. And we've been sharing some pretty cool stuff already. Let's see if we can get a few of those learnings up on the screen. And happy to see that you guys really picked up a tip here and there from Kaylee, Asaf, and Mark. Some of the things that I see on here are the things that I took a note of myself. So really nice stuff, you guys. Contest out of the way. To reach us, type all your questions and musings in the comment section of wherever it is that you're watching us. And if you have any questions for our speakers, please, by all means, leave them there. But please add the name of the speaker so we know who to address the question to once we get to that Q&A session at the end. And if you're watching this live stream on the Printful Threads landing page, then please switch over to YouTube so you can leave your comment there. Okay, I think I'm ready. I hope you guys are ready. I hope everyone's ready. So let's give a warm online welcome to our first speaker, Alex. Alex, let's get you up here. Hi.
Hello, how are you doing, Marianne? Thanks so much for the intro, and thanks to all the Printful team for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Today, we're gonna talk about the business impact of a brand. I'm a creative director, and before we get started, I want to give a little bit of context of who I am. So basically, I started on filmmaking. I started doing commercials and advertisement, working with mostly fashion brands and tech. And yeah, I did also some documentary. This picture is from when I was like shooting a documentary at Burning Man, to talk about this picture, this movie film picture that is on Netflix. You can check it out. Also, I love producing electronic music as one of my passions, like surfing. And yeah, and for the last 5 years, I've been running the Typeform creative team, and basically taking care of all the communications and things like that. I also am a public speaker. I love giving talks. I prefer giving talks in like a warm environment with all of you guys being around and being able to chat with you. But we know the situation, and this is also exciting. So yeah, pretty pumped about this online event. Um, Okay, so I want to start with something kind of getting to the core. So, what is the purpose of branding, right? I've been working on branding for the Typeform brand for like the last 4 or 5 years, and this is something I've been trying to figure out, like to the core of it. But before we answer this question, I want to make like a little fun game here. So, okay, so if I say Britney Spears, what comes to your mind, real quick? Probably like her face, right? A face. So if we give more time to think, probably if you were born in the 80s like I am, you maybe think about Hit Me One More Time, Britney, or maybe you're thinking about like BMA performer, or maybe you're thinking about movie star, if you're one of the few who've seen this movie. I don't know, maybe you're thinking about Pepsi Spears, or even like Kentucky Fried Chicken Spears, or maybe Crazy Spears. Or maybe you're thinking about Britney Spears perfume or something. I don't think so. Or maybe the X Factor Spears, even Free Britney Spears. I don't know if you've seen this on the internet. It's pretty interesting. You can go check it out. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that the brand Britney Spears has changed over time, and how we perceive the brand has also changed. And this has been reflected probably, I don't know the numbers, but like in her value, like not her value, but the value of her brand and how much she can charge. Now, if I say Britney Spears, what comes to your mind? So I wanted to bring this up because I like always to to compare people with brands, right? Or sorry, brands with people actually. And so if I say Nike, for example, what comes to your mind real quick? It's probably the logo, right? But there's more of it. It's like the logo is the face of a brand, but there's then the whole person, the whole company, whole brand, the whole product. Okay. So if I say Nike and I give you more time to think, you're probably gonna maybe think, some of you, about this, because it's one of the more recent events regarding to Nike and how they associate themselves with the Black Lives Matter movement. But to me, when someone mentions Nike, I can like see something like this, right? The sweatshops, and the whole scandal that happened like a few years ago. Probably they changed this. I have no idea, but still, when someone mentions Nike, this is what comes to my mind. And there's nothing they can do at this stage to actually change that. And we'll go back to this later. But if I say Pepsi, if someone says Pepsi or offers me a Pepsi, the first thing that comes to my mind is this commercial from a couple of years ago, I would say, with Kendall Jenner, and how dramatic it was. And I kind of feel like a rejection with the brand. So we'll go back to this later, but this is what I'm talking about. This is the impact of a brand for a business. Okay. So it's not just like how it's the logo, the identity, the community, it's the business actually. And I'm going to break it down. So again, what is the purpose of branding? Some may say it's differentiation. And I think it's much more than that. Yes, of course, it's differentiation. So thanks to branding, and this is probably how it started, right? So brand started to be able to differentiate one soda from another soda built, created from a different company. This is how it started, but there's more than that. So what is a brand actually? My differentiation is, a brand is the perception people have from a commercial entity. And I say commercial entity because it can be a company, it can be a product, or even it could be a person, but it always has to be in the commercial space. Like we don't talk about brands for friends or family or things like that, right? And so brand is a perception. And this is a key word, because this is what I was saying before. It doesn't really matter what Nike does today. I still get this image, right? Martin Neumeyer, who is one of the gods of branding, said something interesting. He said, each customer has a different brand of you. And I 100% believe this. So I have a perception of Nike, and you might have a different perception of Nike, and that's all good. But the point here is like Nike doesn't really control 100% their brand. The brand is on the hands of their customers and audiences. And I also like to say, whether you're aware of it or not, with your company, with your e-commerce business, whatever, you're doing branding. Whether you're purposely doing it or not, you're doing it based on every interaction you do, every action you do. You're building a perception. So what's the purpose of branding? If we say it's much more than differentiation, my opinion is it's all about building trust. And why is trust important for companies? Because trust over time becomes money. And you guys care about money, and we all care about money, right? Because we live in a capitalism system. So how do we actually build trust in our brand? In my opinion, there's three things. The first one is working on our capacity to solve other people's problems. The second is coherency, so our ability to be coherent over time. This also builds trust. And then consideration, being considerate with our audience and customers and all these kind of things. Okay, so let's break it down. If you're interested in this, I'm not going to take more time because we don't have much time here, but go check Branding Basics, a video I did with the future on YouTube. Now, if you're a founder and CEO, maybe you're thinking, okay, Antolino, that's so cool, but what's the business impact of my brand? And I'm going to have to say to you, well, that's hard to tell with precision because it's hard to measure. And we've heard this many times, and some people may say, oh, you say it's hard to measure because you don't know how to measure, whatever. But the point here is like brand is a holistic effort. It's not the action of a design team. It's not the action of a marketing team. It's a whole company effort, right? It's kind of like being in good shape or being healthy. Okay, most people will say, okay, I'm going to train every day, so I'm going to be in good shape. But then you're going to realize you actually need to also eat well and have good habits, maybe also go out and get some sunlight, things like that. But which one of those things actually got you in good shape? It's hard to measure. It's like the whole thing. So brand is a holistic effort. So now we know what is a brand. So how do we actually build it consistently? So we said it's capacity, it's coherency, and it's consideration. So let's break it down. Let's go into each one by one. The first one, capacity. And when we talk about the capacity of a brand, the capacity of a business, we're talking about basically the product. So how capable are you of solving someone else's problem that you're claiming you're going to solve, right? And companies do this with their products that they sell, but also with their content that they put out online. I'm talking about content marketing, right? So these things build trust on your capacity as a business, right? And if you do this right, of course, you're going to get revenue. Very important thing. You're also going to build brand awareness because more people are going to share your content and you're going to get discovered and you're going to get brand loyalty. Not necessarily people buying your product if you are putting out content, but people definitely consuming your content if it's good. A little example here for Typeform. For many years, we had make things more human as our brand proposition, and then it evolved, but it always was this kind of like motto. And this made us create these forms, right? We wanted to create forms that felt more human, felt more like a conversation. So we gave design customization features. We gave one question at a time features, right? But because we had this clear intention of making things, online forms, more human. This also helped us understand that we needed to create a very organic brand, like a very human brand that can like help us differentiate our product from our competitors or like other companies in the same space. And not only this, and I want to share this example because it goes so deep into the business strategy that one of the founders, David Okuniev, was trying to make even more human forms. And he said, what's the more human thing you can get? A face, right? So what if we do kind of like video online forms? And then he created Video Ask, which is a brand that I'm currently working on right now, Typeform's latest product, and started like video online forms. And now it's becoming something bigger, right? The second thing, it's coherency. So how do we build trust based on coherency? And here, this includes like the logo, the identity, like all the aspect kind of things, and the brand strategy. And these elements help you being coherent over time. And if you do them right, they give you identification so people can identify your brand, but also differentiation. Here's where differentiation would be, in my opinion. And then also business opportunities. Like if you have a clear idea of who you are, you can actually identify who you want your allies to be, right? And what kind of like business partnerships you can put in place to actually grow your business. Little note here, coherency is bigger than repetition, right? So if you have like for your visual identity, like a typeface and one color, and you repeat those things all over time, yes, you're going to have a coherent brand, but it's very likely that very soon you're going to have a very boring brand. So just a quick side note here, repetition is good because it gives you coherency, but it burns out really quickly because then people get bored, right? Quick example here, I also collaborate with Aulart, an electronic music education platform. They collaborate with popular artists to bring you knowledge on the music, how to make music, basically. What's interesting here is like they had one color, one typography, and you can see here a sample of their old post and how kind of like a little like corporate and boring it was. And then what we did is like instead of elements, we defined rules, like using gradients, for example, or using the bold typeface. And so it became more flexible, but still recognizable, like you can see in the recent post. The last one, number 3, we've all know how this year has been pretty hard in many ways. So of course, when we think about how to build trust, probably out of these 3, the most important would be, in my opinion, consideration, being considerate and thinking about your customers, right? So what can we do to build trust based on our consideration to our audience and customers? Well, in this area of work, you would have your customer service and you would have your communication. So if you have actually a really good customer service, you care about solving your customers' problems. And then in terms of communication, you have empathetic communication, you do this properly, you're going to have brand loyalty, and most important thing, brand advocacy. So you're going to turn your audience into real fans that are going to stay with you. So that's basically a big highlight of what I wanted to say. Let's recap real quick. So brand is much bigger than just differentiation, like some people think. It goes really deep into your business because brand is the perception people have from a commercial entity, company, person, product, whatever. And the purpose of a brand is to build trust. How do you build trust? Capacity, coherency, and consideration, working on these 3 areas, in my opinion. And especially due to everything that we're going through this year, Black Lives Matter, COVID, all these kind of things, I would say consideration is the thing that people will value the most. People need to feel that brands care about them and the planet more than they care about themselves, basically. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Alex. That was great. I made a few notes myself. What I really, really liked was how you said that building a brand is kind of like being in good health. So it's not like just a hack, but it's actually a series of, like you said, coherent habits. I think that's a really, really good tip to like how to think about building a brand anyway. So thank you, Alex. We'll see you in the Q&A. Awesome. Yay, that was great. If you have any questions for Alex, please leave them in the comment section of wherever you're watching us right now. And if you just woke up or tuned in or don't know where you are watching Printful Threads, Printful's very own online conference for e-commerce business owners. And while speaker number 2 is getting ready, a reminder about our hashtag contest that we have going on. So share an insight or takeaway from the conference so far. I think you probably picked up a few cool tips from Alex while you were listening, so start typing. So share that insight on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, or a public Facebook page. Add the hashtag PrintfulThreads. And you just may be one of the lucky winners who'll win a $10 Printful coupon you can use to order cool custom products on the Printful.com site. And we'll repeat the contest tomorrow as well. And you have plenty of chances to win that sweet little coupon right there. Okay, I think we're all good, and it's time to move on to our second speaker, Steve. Welcome.
Hi.
Take it away.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind putting up my slides, we'll go ahead and get started. Great. So today I'm going to talk about the 4 pillars of e-commerce to build your brand, mainly from a website perspective. And I'm just going to spend a quick 30 seconds telling you about who I am real quick. I've run a 7-figure e-commerce store since 2007. I run a top 25 e-commerce blog over at mywifequitterjob.com, a top 100 marketing podcast of the same name. And I've also been running this annual e-commerce conference called the Seller Summit for the past 5 years. And I offer 2 training courses, one on blogging and one on e-commerce. Okay, so I have a lot to go through today. So I'm going to just kind of go through it really quickly. Everything that I'm going to be talking about in this presentation today will be related to my online store over at bumblebeelinens.com. And in fact, you can actually go over to the website and follow along if you want. And I'm also going to refer to you a little bit about this online store that I started with my kids over at Kid in Charge. It is a print-on-demand store that sells entrepreneurship t-shirts. And as we know, Printful specializes in this sort of thing. All right, so today we're going to be talking about the 4 pillars of running a successful online store and establishing a brand. So we're going to be talking about trust, design, the ability to retain your customers, and the ability to get them to come back. All right, so pillar number 1 is when it comes to establishing a brand, or whenever someone's shopping on your store for the very first time, you really need to be able to gain their trust. And when someone first lands on your site, they literally have like 3 to 5 seconds to answer these questions. Like, what do you sell? Why should they shop here? Is your store even trustworthy? Will they order? If they place an order, will it be delivered on time? How's the customer service? Basically, they are comparing your store to Amazon, which already has a big name. And if you have a brand new brand, you kind of have to convey all this information on your site within the first 3 seconds. So I'm going to show you how I do it on my site. So first of all, when someone's shopping in a brand new brand, they need to know that you're legit. And they're looking for free shipping, a return policy, and a way to reach you. So that's why on the header of every single page on my entire site, I offer free shipping over a certain threshold, an easy return policy, my phone number, and my store hours. This way, if anything goes wrong with their order, they know that they can call me at any time or reach me. And also having the store hours there, even if you're just a pure e-commerce store, greatly lends to the credibility of your shop. In addition, right front and center, as soon as someone lands on my site, they immediately know what we specialize in. Handkerchiefs and linens for special occasions, and all of our unique value propositions are right there front and center. We offer the largest selection of handkerchiefs online. You can personalize your linens. Everything is done in the USA, which is one of our value props because everyone's looking for USA items these days. Fast turnaround times and expedited shipping. And the reason why we specify this is typically when people order personalized items, it typically takes 2 weeks. But with our store, we can actually turn it around in 1 to 2 days. And then, of course, there's a button that takes people directly to our highest margin items. Now, to further lend credibility to our site, remember, we're trying to get people to trust our site. We have various amounts of social proof that we put on every single page of the entire website. So we've been on the NBC Today show. We've been in magazines like Brides, Martha Stewart Weddings, and Real Simple magazine. It's important to put all of these things on every single page of your site to just make your store feel like it's shopped in. We also have testimonials along with photos of actual customers praising us about their purchase. They were very happy with their purchase, and they basically they gave us permission to put their words and their photo on the website. This is on every single page of the website to add trust. Even on our product pages, remember what I said before, when someone's shopping on a brand new brand, they're looking for free shipping, no hassle returns, and they're looking to see if other people are shopping, right? So on all of our product pages, right above the action button, which in this case is the add to cart button, we emphasize fast and free shipping, no hassle returns, and then reviews are right front and center on every single product page. On our category pages, we also have a lot of social proof. Now, for our particular online store, which is very SEO optimized, people usually come in on a category page, and we want to make sure that they know that we've been in Brides Magazine, Martha Stewart Weddings, Real Simple, and that sort of thing. So we put that front and center. In addition, we have this little slide up, right? That slides up whenever someone places an order. And just whenever you see a slide up that someone's just placed an order, that also lends to the credibility of your store and your brand as well. Now, the About Us page on your website is usually probably the second most traffic page on your site. And the About Us page is actually very important. Most people don't spend that much time on it, but people really want to know what your brand story is about and why you actually started your store. So here's a picture of my wife, and there's just a few choice words on why she decided to start our online store in the first place. She basically loves arts and crafts. She loves crafting for weddings. We sell wedding handkerchiefs. And then right front and center are our value propositions once again. We sell beautifully designed handkerchiefs. You can personalize them, and we offer fast turnaround times. And then a whole bunch of social proof right below this on our About page. So one mistake that I often see with brand new store owners is they'll display their products with like 0 likes or 0 pins or no social proof, or I should say negative social proof. It's true that if you want something to be shared or your brand to be shared or your products to be shared on social media, you do have to show the buttons, but do not show share counts unless you have critical mass. Now, Pinterest and Facebook are going to be your main drivers of social media traffic, but if someone goes on your store and they see that something has 0 likes, 0 reviews, or 0 shares, they're immediately going to think to themselves that your brand, no one's shopping there, right? So in the event that you have 0 social proof for a particular product or listing, just take away those numbers altogether. All right, so let's move on to pillar number 2, and this has to do with your store design. Now, in general, your store has to be streamlined to funnel customers down to a set path because you want them to make a purchase. So here's just some rules of thumb. You don't want it to be complicated for them to find your product. So no more than 3 clicks to an add to cart. You need a strong call to action above the fold. And most importantly, every single page on your site needs to have only one call to action. And it also helps to create a sense of urgency to push your customer towards checkout. All right, so I'll show you what I mean here. This is once again the front page of our site. We picked a color scheme for our website on purpose. Teal is just like the general background color of our site. Yellow is to highlight anything. And then hot pink are all of our action buttons. And the reason why we chose hot pink is because that stands out the most among all the colors. And so on every single page of our site, the button that I actually want you to click on is always going to be in hot pink. All right, so in the front page, our main call to action is to shop our personalized collection because that is what we specialize in, and those are the highest margin items that we sell in our store. And in terms of navigation, no more than 3 clicks to add to cart. So we have this menu, and basically you click once to get to the category page, you click again to view the product description, and then you click once again to get to add to cart, to add the item to your shopping cart. Now on our product pages, once again, there's only one big pink button that we want you to click on, and that's add to cart. And in the yellow section right above, whenever we're running a promotion, there is a countdown timer that creates a sense of urgency to actually shop in our store and check out. And even on our shopping cart page, when there's multiple buttons, you'll notice that the only hot pink button on the page is the checkout button. There are other buttons on this page, but they're purposely made white, and the buttons do work, but ultimately I'm pointing out that I want someone to actually click on that checkout button. All right, so pillar number 3. This is a very important one. You have to be able to retain your customers. When someone goes onto your website for the very first time, I think the average conversion rate for e-commerce is only on the order of 2%, which basically means that 98% of your customers are not going to buy on their first visit. And as a result, you have to have a way to bring them back over and over again. People have landed on your site for the first time. They have very short memories, especially if you don't have a strong brand just yet. And it takes 4 to 8 touch points before someone will make a purchase from your store. And I would say like the lowest hanging fruit and the easiest way to bring people back is through email. And for any e-commerce store, no matter what size you are, you need to have these automated sequences in place already. An abandoned cart campaign, a re-engagement campaign, and a pre-purchase sequence. And once you have these set up, these email sequences are set it and forget it. And for my e-commerce store, email accounts for 30% of my revenue. All right, so let's talk about these sequences. The abandoned cart sequence, as I mentioned before, a large percentage of your people might start checkout at your store, but they might not actually finish the purchase. And so you need a way to bring these people back by reminding them through email. And in general, a good abandoned cart sequence consists of 2 to 3 emails and converts anywhere from 10 to 30%. And if you want to convert your abandoned customers at the higher end of that scale, you can just offer a coupon at on the third email in the event that they haven't checked out just yet. The pre-purchase sequence is probably the most important sequence of your entire site because it kind of establishes your brand and your story. And when someone brand new lands on your site, you want to grab their email as soon as you can by offering some sort of lead magnet or offering some sort of coupon. And then after that, you should develop an email sequence that's completely automated that nurtures them along. And the idea here is when someone lands on your site for the very first time, they might not be ready to buy. But with repeated exposure on at least a weekly basis, when they are ready to make a purchase from you, they will think about your store and they will check out. So as part of our pre-purchase sequence, we tell our story, our brand story, what we sell, we talk about our value propositions, and interspersed with them, we offer coupons and deals. But mainly the pre-purchase sequence is about telling your brand story. Now, to get people on, there's a whole bunch of ways to get someone's email address. You can give out a coupon. You can give out like an info product that's related to the products. For our store, what we found is that this spin to win pop-up always outperforms everything else. And I think it's because people just generally like to gamble. So the way it works is we get an email address, and as soon as they enter an email address, they get a chance to spin the wheel. Every slot on that wheel is a winner. And then we try to get customer contact information in more ways than just email. So we try to get their messenger, get them as a messenger subscriber. We try to get their SMS number. And the way we do this is when someone wins a space on the wheel, they actually have to redeem their prize on Facebook Messenger. So if they click on that hot pink button, once again, they are taken to Facebook Messenger. And if you guys aren't familiar with this platform, if anyone interacts with you on Facebook Messenger or your bot, then they instantly become a subscriber, and then you can reach out to them as much as you want later on. So when they click on that button, it takes them to this sequence that first asks them, are you here to redeem your special discount? As soon as they click yes, they instantly become a subscriber, and then you present them with a coupon, and then they finish shopping on your store. We also get people back through push notifications. Push notifications, if you don't know what they are these little notifications that you can actually send to people directly within their browser. So we'll send them flash sales. Sometimes we'll take them to a blog post or whatnot. It's another good mechanism to get people consuming your content or shopping in your store. Remember, on the same vein, in terms of touch points, we're also running Facebook dynamic retargeting ads. And what these ads are, if someone so much as looks at a product on your store, then ads will follow you around Facebook with pictures of exactly what product that you looked at. And these are the highest converting ads that you can run on Facebook. Generally converts between 10 to 12x for my store. And as I mentioned before, what's cool is it will display the exact product, the exact pictures of the product that they were looking at in your store. And so that's why it's dynamic. We also do the same thing for Google. If you go on my site right now and you so much as look at a product, our store will follow you all over the web, showing you pictures of the exact products that you were looking at in our store. All right, and the last pillar is probably the most important one, and that's to get people to return to your website after they've made a purchase. Someone who buys once from your store is much more likely to buy again, and this is like the holy grail of e-commerce. The way e-commerce stores grow are by getting repeat business. And in general, even if someone's bought from you before, they are forgetful, and sometimes you actually have to remind them to come back. Bain & Company did a study a while back that said a 5% increase in retention results in 75% more profit. So if someone has bought from you before but hasn't bought for a while, you need to convince them to come back with some sort of incentive via email, SMS, Messenger, or ads, whichever medium that you choose to use. I just happen to use all 4 of those mediums. All right. And email, for example, if someone's bought but hasn't bought in 60 days, we just send out a simple email that says, hey, it's been a while since you've been here. Here's a coupon code. Why don't you come on back and continue shopping? For the same time, whenever that email goes out, we will simultaneously run a Facebook ad as well. There's statistics out there that say a customer who has purchased in the past is 65% more likely to buy again. Every single customer will have a life cycle, and they won't think about your company unless you remind them to think about your company. So once again, whenever that email goes out, we have custom audiences for people who haven't shopped or bought in 60 days. And this Facebook ad just automatically goes out, and the audience is dynamically generated as well, synced up with the email. All right, the post-purchase sequence is the most important sequence on your store outside of the pre-purchase sequence. So whenever someone makes a purchase from you, you always want to follow up. And these emails, they don't have to be complicated. You just need to remind your customers that you exist. So you can ask for reviews, you can ask for testimonials, you can ask for photos, of them posted with your new products. Basically, you're trying to establish a conversation here with your customers to establish your brand and ingrain them and make them lifetime customers. Talk about new products, you can talk about special offers. For our particular flow, we always do cross-sells in our post-purchase sequence as well. So, for example, we sell napkins in our store. So if someone purchased dinner napkins from our store, we will send them an email in our post-purchase sequence enticing them to buy tea napkins or cocktail napkins. And this works really well for not only educating customers about the other products that we sell, but it makes our place like a one-stop shop for all of their napkin needs, for example. Now, this is the most important thing that we do with our shop. And repeat business for our store represents 36% of our revenue. So what we do on a monthly basis is we separate out our high volume customers and look for potential business clients. We are in the wedding industry. So if someone buys 40 dozen napkins, chances are they're a business, and we want businesses to buy from us over and over and over again. So what we do is we find these large customers, and then we reach out to them directly and establish human contact, meaning I will actually pick up the phone and give them a call or send them an email, and I will say, hey, we noticed that you bought a large volume of products. We want to give you a dedicated representative, a special discount, and whenever you place an order from here on out, we will make sure it gets there on time. We will put a dedicated person on your order. And that allows us to get a lot of repeat business from these larger customers who purchase on a regular basis. And then the final way to get people to really love your brand is to establish a loyalty program. And we have one of these for our store. Customers earn points for every purchase, and these points can be redeemed for valuable prizes in our store. And there's statistics that show that 58% of customers shop more often when they are members. And I notice this all the time. Like, I will shop at places when I have a little loyalty card where I can actually punch and get valuable prizes at the end. There's a bunch of programs out there that do this, like Smile.io. I actually implemented my own program for free via Facebook Messenger. It is completely self-service as well. All right, so to sum it up, when it comes to establishing your brand, for a brand new online store, when you're relatively unknown, trust is the most important factor. You have to offer, because Amazon has trained us this way, you have to offer free shipping, no hassle returns, and a way to contact you. All right. And in general, you do not want to drive traffic or pay for traffic until your site follows these 4 pillars already. And then you also have to have a way to retain and get repeat business. Remember, the average conversion rate is only 2%, and customers who have bought from you already, you need them to come back. It's only through repeated exposure where you can actually embed your brand into their brains. And then finally, build a relationship with your strongest customers, because repeat business is going to be the lifeblood of your e-commerce store. All right, and with that, I hope I didn't go over. If you guys have any questions, you can reach me at steve@mywifequitherjob.com or on Twitter over at mywifequit.
Thank you, Steve. You were good. You were good. Right on time. That was amazing, actually. I was amazed how many examples and tips you managed to squeeze in just 15 minutes. So thank you for that. Really, really good ones. I hope that our viewers picked up some of them, especially the one about people loving to gamble. That could be not a minefield, the opposite of a minefield. That's a gold mine right there, e-commerce gold mine. Anyway, thank you, Steve. See you in the Q&A.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that was great. We have one speaker left, Zach. But Zach is going to join us after the break. Coming up soon is a short little 5-minute break where we're all going to catch our breaths and, powder our noses and things. But before you go grab your refill or get some air, I'm going to remind you about the contest we have going on. So go on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, or a public Facebook page, post a learning or takeaway from the conference so far. And I think Alex and Steve have shared lots of things for you to keep sharing, because that was some pretty awesome stuff. So post that learning or takeaway, add the hashtag Printful Threads, and you may be one of the people to win a $10 Printful coupon that you can spend on printful.com for ordering something special, customized, and just for you, just as you want it, just for you. Okay, so we'll randomly draw the lucky 5 today, and we'll also draw another batch of 5 tomorrow, and that'll be sadly the end of our contest. And tomorrow will sadly also be the end of Printful Threads Volume 2. But we have plenty of cool stuff ahead. But now it's break time. See you in 5. Welcome back, guys. You're watching Printful Threads, Printful's very own online conference. Welcome back from the little break. Great to have you with us. Just in case you're tuning in just now, this is the second installment of Printful Threads already, and it's called Marketing Crash Course for E-commerce Stores. I'm your host, Marianna. I've led you this far, and I'm going to lead you on until we finish on day 3, which is tomorrow. We've had a lot of fun today, actually. We had some very cool presentations from Alex and Steve, and coming up a bit later on in just a few moments is going to be Zach, who's going to tell us about his experience with his brand, Live a Great Story. But before that, a quick reminder about the hashtag contest we have going on. So today and tomorrow, we're drawing a bunch of lucky winners who are going to receive a $10 coupon they can spend to their liking on the Printful.com site on cool custom swag. And to enter, all you have to do is post a learning on or a takeaway from the conference on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, or a public Facebook page. Add the hashtag Printful Threads and just let it out there. And you can do this until midnight of the 4th of September. That's Eastern time. And we'll randomly draw the lucky 5 every day, and we'll get in touch with the winners privately. And actually, those learnings keep coming in, and we just can't get enough. And let's get a few of them on the screen. So we got some really good ones related to what Alex said at the beginning of this day 2 of Printful Threads, and then a really good one from Steve, which was speaker number 2. So keep those insights coming. We can't get enough of them, you guys. Thank you. Okay, so coming up next is Zach. I hope you're ready. So dear viewers, if you have a question for Zach, please don't forget to type your question in the comment section of wherever you're watching us. Okay, Zach, welcome. We're all ears. Tell us how you got here, and welcome. Hello.
Hey, thanks for having me. Excited to be here and to talk a little bit about stickers and some general marketing ideas that I've picked up over the last couple of years. So a quick rundown of who I am. Can we get my thing up on the screen? Perfect. Yeah, so this is titled A Million Stickers, UGC, and having fun with marketing, because that's really what it's all about. So quick backstory on who I am. When I was 22, I bought a one-way ticket to Europe, and I ended up traveling for about 7 months. And through that experience, I connected with tons of awesome people from literally all around the world. And through that journey, I came back with the phrase of live a great story. So I ended up grabbing a can of red spray paint. I thought it was a really inspiring phrase, and I spray painted it on a wall. And little did I know that a couple people would start taking pictures of it. It would start spreading through social media, and it would just keep spreading. And so Live a Great Story has been around for now 6 years, and it is has evolved. So this is actually me putting up this now big Live a Great Story that is here in Austin, and it's now become kind of a landmark of the city. Millions of people have walked by this and taken photos, and it's pretty much downtown Austin. But I'm going to talk about why this message is important, using how to use stickers and a phrase and in your marketing, and how to really build a brand around your company. So now, 6 years in, there are over 1 million Live a Great Story stickers in the world, which is totally wild to think about, starting from an initial order of about 100 buttons and 100 stickers, not really knowing where this would go. It's gone pretty far, and it's been a really awesome experience to see people's images pop up from really around the world of people traveling with the stickers. There's over 36 people that have Live a Great Story tattoos, and people do all sorts of cool things with it, like take them to the Great Wall of China. We have a lot of teachers that use them. They end up on water bottles everywhere. And so the first thing I really wanted to jump into is, now with over 1 million stickers out in the world, what have I learned about stickers? And I've realized that a lot of people don't use stickers as well as they could, because stickers are a massive opportunity. The first speaker was talking about branding, and really when you're building a business, branding is so important. It's such an important element in connecting with your customers, in connecting emotionally, building that resonance, and can really just be a massive part where, starting in the beginning, you can start with a strong brand, and like the second speaker was talking about, those the lifetime value of your customers can be huge, and so a big part of that is really the stickers. And so why would you use stickers in your marketing? You're probably running Facebook ads, you're probably doing email marketing, you have a lot of things that you're already using, a lot of strategies. But one of the most important reasons to use stickers is that stickers are cheap. You can get them from 10 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents, really cheap. And the lifetime value of those stickers can be huge. If you're bringing in customers, you're building awareness, each of those impressions can really add up, and for the cost of a really cheap sticker. The second reason is they're really fun. So much about building a business and a brand and jumping out into some sort of e-commerce company is about having fun with it. I hope you're enjoying your process. If you're building a company, you're thinking about it, you really need to have a fun time, because it's not about the destination, it's about the ride. And so having a good, fun, enjoyable time with it, and stickers do exactly that. If you're passing out stickers, if people are putting them on their laptops, on their computers, their phones, their water bottles, their cars, they end up being really fun, and then you can actually pass them out to people, definitely, and substitute out stickers for a business card. It's a lot more fun to hand someone a sticker than it is to hand a business card. They're also spreadable, so stickers tend to kind of fly so far and way further than you might imagine. And so stickers can spread from person to person. You give someone a couple, they give them to someone, and all of a sudden your impressions of your brand spread from person to person. And they're also a great item to include in your packaging, in your marketing. When you're mailing things, stickers can be a really fun item, because once again, they're spreadable. And really the last reason that stickers are important is they're not salesy. If we go back to that branding conversation and that talk about branding, a lot of that's the emotion that are attached to how you feel about an identity, right? How do people see you? How are you viewed? And stickers are a great way to not be too salesy on people. If you're always trying to sell someone something and you're always trying to get them to buy, and all your emails are conversion driven, then people have this kind of barrier to wanting to listen to you. When you're scrolling and you see an ad, or an ad comes on TV, you switch a channel, or ads pop up, go away. We're constantly bombarded with ads and people trying to sell us something. But if you can use stickers in the right way, you can kind of circumnavigate that salesiness and come off way more friendly, way less aggressive. It's just like, hey, here's a sticker, and it is able to kind of avoid the barriers that people put up in their protective, they don't want to be sold, but stickers kind of slide around that and plant this seed from a branding perspective of how to better connect down the road. So if you're not using stickers, I highly suggest using stickers. It's a really fun time and massively valuable. People underestimate the value of stickers, and so much so that I actually launched a sticker marketing agency called Sticky, because really no one talks about stickers. If you're thinking about starting a brand, you can watch YouTube videos for days about running ads and digital marketing and social media marketing, but there's very little out there about sticker marketing, and it can be really valuable. Now 1 million stickers in, I've definitely learned quite a bit about this journey. So if you're interested, it's Sticky marketing. But the next thing I want to talk about that comes from stickers, and one of the things that I've learned, is that the power of user-generated content. So in your brand building, that authenticity, that connection with your customers, your audience, the power of UGC is massive for connecting with people. And so one of the things that, along this whole journey I've realized is that people love taking photos. They love, engaging. They love sharing stuff. They love featuring brands that they identify with. And so these are some screenshots of just my Instagram, the Live a Great Story Instagram, and pretty much all of our content comes from user generated. So it's all user generated. Almost every photo that we share, for the most part, is from our customers, which is amazing, because like the gentleman was talking about your website, that that trust that you want to build. Like, people like seeing that that companies, that other people have the stickers, that they've bought things, that they're successful, that they have a good brand. And one of the best ways to do that is through UGC. And so if you can get that UGC ball rolling, it can be really powerful. It frees you up from the social media side, from the content creation side, and really can build a really powerful relationship with your customers. And so one of the things, this is a quick snapshot I pulled from one of our UGC dashboards, but thanks to just people sharing photos on Instagram, there's been over 5,000 posts, over 12 million impressions, and over $360,000 worth of UGC value from people sharing photos of Live a Great Story flags and stickers and hats. And a lot of the gear that we wear. So it can be really lucrative and save you tons of money on cold ads and things like that. If you're getting warm traffic, referrals, their friends are talking about it, they're sending people your way. UGC can be a very powerful tool. The last thing I want to talk about is just having fun with the journey, right? With your marketing and trying new things, engaging, keeping it fresh. I'm 6 or 7 years into Live a Great Story, and just continually trying to have a blast with it, because that's really what it's all about. And so one of the new ways that I've done this is through text message marketing. So this is an SMS blast, talking about branding once again, connecting with your customers. This was a very personal selfie style text message that I sent out to about 4,000 people on our email list a couple Fridays ago. And I had just started using text message marketing, but had was like, hey, I want to not sell people. I want to connect with our customers, and I want to see what happens. So I sent out this selfie with my dog. And if you see here, we had over a 12% response rate. And so I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of text messages that came back my way, and it ended up way surpassing any sort of the other metrics of past text messages that I used. And it was cool because what this did was it connected with our customers. So I got responses like this, her father was killed and he was racing his bike across the country. And so this message resonated with her when she saw it. I would have never known that if I didn't send that text message. My favorite shirt is from you. I love it. I have the original shirt. I get compliments on it everywhere I go. I teach kindergarten. And so, you get these really personal responses. I got these really personal responses from people, and we're just texting, and then people sent, going back to that UGC, all of these photos people sent that I had no idea that were out there. They have them on their phone, they take a photo, they don't share it, and I never see it. But in this case, they were able to text it back to me really simply. Crazy views from mountaintops. This lady has the Live Great license plate, the dogs. I sent a picture of my dog, people sent back pictures of their dog, and it really created this awesome connection with my audience, and really personal too, which lasts a long time, going back to that branding presentation. But really quick, just to sum it up, make stickers. If you don't have stickers for your company, make some. Really think it through, have fun with your stickers. Building a brand can really, like a brand that people identify with, can result in a lot of user-generated content and make your job a lot easier. And then also just have fun with it and enjoy the ride, because we never know when it might end, and we got to have fun while we're here and make an impact and live a great story. Thanks.
Thanks, Zach. That was great. I mean, what the feeling must be like to start off with something as simple as a spray painted saying on a wall somewhere, or wherever it was that you spray painted the saying, and then see it as a bumper. Well, it wasn't a bumper sticker, it was a license plate. I mean, how incredible is that? I mean, talk about spreading the message. Really, really cool story. Thank you, Zach. Once again, that was awesome. Speakers of day 2 are done speaking, but now it's time for questions. So I hope our dear speakers had the chance to check their hair and headgear and everything, because I am taking you back on the screen and getting you all Nice and cozy. Hi,
Hey
guys.
there.
Hey.
Alrighty. You ready?
Yes, we are.
Let's see. Actually, I have a question for all of you, and we're going to flip things a bit. What do you look for in a brand as a customer? Huh. Zach, why don't you go first?
Yeah, from a customer standpoint, I mean, you really look at, Steve was talking about, the foundational elements of, making sure that you can trust somebody, that they're real, that people are buying from them, that you're not going to get scammed, as a baseline. That's like the first thing. But then really looking at the story, where do they come from? Why did they start this company? Why does this exist? What's their, the company's why? Making sure that they're founded on good beliefs and good values. You want to support people that you trust, that you like, that are doing good in the world. And so starting with really those foundational elements, which are the foundation of brand, and that connection to an entity in general, but for sure from another company.
Okay, cool. I saw Alex nodding. What do you look
Yeah,
for in a brand?
I thought it was myself speaking. Like I agree 100% with you, Zach. Like I think it's all about like honesty. It's like what do you look for in people when you meet someone new? Like you expect them to be honest, you expect them to be caring, and this is exactly what people look for on brands. Like they expect them to be honest. Like I, as a customer, I expect brands to be honest and be consistent with what they promise, and that's it. And so, really well said.
I just want to add that I'm a sucker for a good story. So just real quick story here. Back when we had our first child, we were shopping for baby slings, and the one that we ultimately bought was designed by this 90-year-old guy. He could never have kids, and so he devoted his life to taking care of kids, and he spent his life designing this sling. It was the most
Oh, wow.
expensive sling that store carried, and I wasn't even sure if the story was bogus, but I got hooked with it, and I ended up buying that sling. So story matters.
Oh,
Story
that's
matters.
storytelling done right.
Yep.
Very nice. Okay, let's take a look at some of these other ones. This one's for Alex. How does a new store build their brand? Like you're totally brand new. You have to build your brand. What do you do?
Okay, so if you just popped up your store, I think basically before like thinking about design, thinking about like, your logo, all these like kind of things, I think the most important thing is like understanding why you're doing this. Like at the end of the day, everything, if hopefully your business is gonna grow and you're gonna start like doing more things. So in my opinion, the most important thing is understanding why you're doing this. And yes, of course, we work because we need money to live, but like there's always something more. You started an online business selling this kind of product and not this other one for a reason. So what is your motivation? I'd say like if you nail this, everything comes from this, like you gotta understand how to express your brand and just be honest and be legit, because it's very simple to have a preconceived idea of your business. Like it's very easy, but then what is the true business that you have? Like it's very, I wanna, I'm doing, traveling, and I sell, I don't know, suitcases, and they're like fancy, cool, whatever, but like why do you sell those suitcases? Is this the truth story? And you have to be, it's like a lot of digging into yourself as a founder and understanding what's your motivation, in my opinion. Does that make
Well,
sense?
it's kind of like Zach's story, because you started with an idea.
Exactly.
Formed into this brand, right? And well, we had a really cool conversation with Kaylee yesterday, and she said that, well, she didn't experience an aha moment, it was a yeehaw moment. And so my question for Zach is, how did you get to that moment, to that aha or yeehaw or whatever you'd like to call that moment? How did you know that you've gone from an idea to a brand?
Yeah, for me, it was just lots of little steps. I think that the first couple really cool yeehaw moments were when I started seeing the stickers and the buttons and the street art start popping up on social media. And in the beginning days, it was these really emotional captions that people had, like, their grandfather passed away, or they had cancer, or they just quit their job, and they just saw this sticker and they just took a picture of it and wrote this, like, I still get chills thinking about it. And it was like each of those moments just kind of adding up, and they still happen all the time. But definitely probably the first big one was I was just on the street walking at a farmer's market here, and some lady comes up to me, and she's like, "Hey, that girl wants to talk to you." And I went over to talk to her, and she's like, "Yeah, I saw your sweatshirt. I love Live a Great Story. I have it tattooed on me." And she goes like this, and she had a Live a Great Story, and it was like I just about exploded. It was so circumstantial, but that was like an insane moment.
That's a yeehaw moment. It's a very good moment.
I think I can add to that. Like, I think just the way you're explaining this story is like your brand. You know what I mean? Like, like this passion and like this excitement. This is like your brand basically. And I really liked what you said about like sharing that selfie with your dog and stuff, because brands today need to be personal. It's more important. So I like to say personal is the new professional. Before brands had to be like perfect and nail it all the time, and now we don't buy this because we know anyone is perfect. So it's more important to be honest and accept your mistakes and just be truthful than anything else. So yeah,
Definitely.
It's funny. Small brands always want to be large, and large brands always want to be small. But
it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Wow, that's awesome. I hope somebody is sharing this
so
as a learning or takeaway. Hashtag Printful Threads, you guys. Anyway, Zach, you mentioned social media, and this leads me to a question for Steve. And again, we have a lot of these questions related to new businesses in particular, which is very interesting. So Steve, for new business, how do you go about obtaining that social proof to get that social media presence, again, when you have nothing?
Well, it all starts with a good story and your value propositions. I think we've all kind of talked about that a lot. And then after that, it's really just about putting yourself out there. You can do it through content. You can do it through lives. Just content is the way to just bring people together, really. And once you have that audience, you can gather emails, SMS, Messenger, however you want. The point is you want to just be in their mind share in the long term. So everyone starts at zero, right? So.
Yeah, you mentioned texts. And this brings us back to Zach once again with that really cute text you sent. And there's a very, very practical question here. How did you manage all the responses from that personal text?
Personally, yeah,
there you go.
I saw the pain in your eyes. Like,
I sent it and I refreshed, and I immediately had 200 text messages, and I said, maybe I shouldn't have done this. But I texted back, everybody, and it took me a long time. It was, even into the next week, but it was amazing. Like, each one of those was so personal. This one kid said, "This is a bot. This isn't a real person. Send me a photo with a fork." And I sent him back of me holding a fork. And then he sent one back holding a fork. And it's like, those are those unparalleled moments that, each of those, 400 or 500 people or however many had that personal connection. And, from a branding perspective, they're going to remember that when I get the email, or when they get the next text message, or when they see our, new products that we've released, they're gonna be like, "Oh, Zach sent me this message, and Zach's releasing this." I think one quick thing I was thinking about this whole time is that I love the idea that the word brand isn't a noun, it's actually a verb. So you have to practice being a brand. So it's not like a set and release. It's like, how do you continually act? How do you engage? How do you, communicate? It's a practice. So you don't build a brand, you brand things, and so it kind of permeates into all areas of your business.
Since we're talking about this, I think conversations are very important. Our business loyalty drastically improved when we started using both Messenger and SMS. And it just wonders, even if it's like a really short conversation, maybe like a couple of texts, that's enough to ingrain that brand in the customer's mind right there. It's something that you can't do as effectively via email. So we get like tons of messages. Like, sometimes I'll send out a Messenger broadcast and I'll get like 1,000 all at once. And so I don't know how you handled it exactly, but we use this tool called Gorgeous, and it just all comes flying in all at once. And then we have different people just answer each one of those personally.
Oh, that's a really cool tip. That's gorgeous, normal spelling.
Gorgeous.io. No, it's not the normal. Do you guys use Gorgeous?
Obviously.
Yeah.
You do? Okay. Yeah. So
Never
it's
heard before.
gorgias.io.
Yeah, with the internet, you can never know. Nothing's spelled normally anymore. I have a question for Alex now. Somebody
Go
wrote
for it.
in saying that, well, you said that each customer has a different brand of you. So is this a good thing or a bad thing?
So I didn't say that. That was a quote from Martin Neumeyer. Just to be fair, but I do believe that, and I don't think it's a good, bad, or like anything. Like I wouldn't judge it. I would just accept it. That as a business owner, you just don't control, or marketing CMO, whatever. You just don't control your brand. You control your actions. So what your company does and how your company talks and how your company communicates, this is what you control. And then all these interactions with audience, customers, everything you do will be judged in the eyes of your customers and potential customers, and that will be the perception of your brand. So that's why every person has a different brand of you, slightly different, and that's not good or bad. That's just how things are. And what's good is that we understand this and we try to make sure all of our interactions and all of our actions as a business are aligned with what the business is and the vision of the business. That's what I said before, that the first thing, the most important thing before visual identity, before email, before anything, is understanding why you're doing what you're doing, because then anything you do, you can understand if it's aligned or not, and you can, like multiply it by 10 or just like get it out of the way.
Nice. Thank you for that. Very in-depth. Yeah. I hope the person who asked this got the answer that they needed. Very nice.
And if not, hit me up on Instagram at Antolino. If you want to have more conversations, just hit me up on already a couple of people DM me. So if you want to keep up with the conversation, I'm very like accessible. And I have a lot of kilometers to do on the road, so I'll have time.
Oh yeah, if you didn't know, he's doing this from inside a van.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I thought so. It looked like it.
It's not a toilet or anything.
An airplane toilet? I don't know. Let's see. Well, since Steve's presentation was so practical, there are lots of practical questions for you, actually. I mean, it would be a presentation in itself. But let's see.
I apologize. I would have told more stories, but I promised 4 pillars, and I didn't. I had to struggle to get 4 pillars done in 15 minutes. So.
The pillars were good. I like the pillars. A very specific question here. I have abandoned card coupons entered on my Etsy store, but it never goes out. Is there a trick to it?
That sounds like a technical issue, really. I probably can't solve this, live, so to speak, but it's probably just like a software issue, I'm guessing.
Okay. Well, that wasn't as in-depth as I had anticipated. But anyway. Let's see what else we got here. Let's hit a refresh here. Oh, here's a question for Zach. We were talking about stickers, right? And you said that stickers are cool in that they sort of can make something that seems salesy as not salesy. It's a really cool medium. Like a sticker is very friendly. Do you think you can do that with other products as well?
Yeah, I think in general, merch, maybe if you're not selling like specific merch, we sell necklaces, we sell hats, masks, shirts, flags, everything, right? A lot of those can be used for other types of companies if that's not your main product. So using merch to brand is a powerful thing. And especially if you are developing that relationship the right way, I for sure think that you can use, a wide array of merchandise to build a brand that, like Typeform, for example, right? Like they're not selling merch, but using, especially Video Ask, I think is such an awesome program. But using something to like build that identity, something that can connect that product to their customer when you're touching it. It's a digital platform that you don't have this relationship to, but if you can take that offline and you have Typeform stickers, or you have like an interesting something, then that creates this physical connection with a digital entity or brand. And in those cases, it's really powerful, because then you're actually like physically interacting with that company. So for sure, lots of different items you can use. Stickers just happen to be the cheapest, easiest, most fun items.
Yeah, everybody loves stickers, basically. Okay, I have one last question for you guys. And again, I'd like to address it to each of you. Because we talked about branding, and it came off as this really, really personal thing, like your brand is your baby and it's very personal and all these things. But when it comes to collaborative efforts, what do you think about influencers? How to go about this new influencer marketing thing we have going on right now? We can start with Alex, because he's smiling.
Yes, I love this question because one of the things I like to say is that advertisement is dead. And Zach kind of touched a little bit on that when you were saying that we see all these ads and they threw us off, right? Like, we don't like seeing ads on TV. We don't like seeing ads on Instagram and things like that. So ads are, as we know them, as like, little pieces of, super high produced content. This is dead. Like, some companies are going to take more time to accept this than other companies. But now we need like a friend telling us, what we want, right? And influencer marketing, if it's well done and honest, it's super powerful. Like, honestly, I think if you have like someone in which who you trust, like, let's say I follow X person and I trust that person and I engage with that person. If that person engages with a brand, I'm super likely to at least have a good beginning with that brand if it's a new brand. So super powerful. The problem with influencers and influencer marketing is how it's priced and managed sometimes. So and how it's done, like it's not honest. Like, the problem with traditional advertisement is that people now perceive it as not honest, like this super high produced content. It's just fake as fuck. Yeah, like, it just doesn't, you can't believe this. So with influencer marketing can happen the same thing, even though it's just someone telling you, look how good is my new phone, whatever. It can happen, but if it's done well and honest, and that person really buys into that brand and the values, and they just share it because they are users, I think it's super powerful, because it's just transferring trust from one person to a brand, and that's super powerful.
Thank you. Steve, what do you think?
So I agree with everything that you said. So I just want to add, a couple of points to that. I've found personally that if an influencer you want to work with is a member of some service that markets them, whatever, it's probably already too late. I feel like maybe 5 years ago, influencer marketing was really easy to do and everyone was just willing to do it. Now, like, if they're represented or if they have like a media kit, it's probably already too late. They're going to charge a lot higher prices than what they're probably worth. It's hit or miss still. But if you go in and you do the legwork and you find some of these influencers that might be smaller, they're not used to doing a lot of these things, those are the ones that tend to be more authentic, just in my experience. And I'm just one data point here. But whenever you work with an influencer, you want to make sure that they're in tune with your brand. And you want to make sure that it's not just like them posting one time on Instagram, right? You have to work out a longer term arrangement where they're posting on a regular basis, and then you amplify that with ads.
Thank you. And Zach, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I think it's still a new medium to reach people. It's very relationship heavy, so it's a lot of developing relationships. I think that if you have a line sheet or whatever, a price spec sheet for what you charge for photos, and you're already like working with an agency, it kind of dilutes it. but I think there is a lot of value to it, but it's just not so cut and dry as to how to execute it. So there's a lot of trial and error. I lost a lot of money last year on influencers, and I did it a lot the right way, I think. But it just, it's a different type of, you run Facebook ads or whatever. It's like, that's a dollar in, dollar out measurement. Whereas influencers, it's more relationship, and it's hard to quantify that. So it's a tricky one, but I think there's still a lot of opportunity with it. It's not something I would suggest jumping into early in the game. I think it's a much more sophisticated marketing strategy that's for sure down the road for a lot of people.
It's a long-term relationship for sure. So just for example, just by me presenting at Printful right now and the relationships that we've established here, I'm much more likely to recommend Printful to people who read my blog, for example, right? It's just like a longer term thing. And I will not charge Printful, obviously, anytime I mention it. It's just this relationship that we built up in the long term.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you. I love this. This wasn't a Q&A. This was a discussion. But as far as Q&As go, that was the last question of the day, sadly. Thank you, Alex, Steve, Zach. That was amazing. You can do a little wave to the viewers. Thank you, guys.
It was awesome.
Guys, great discussion.
That was awesome. Wow. Day 2 of Threads is over. 2 down, 1 to go. Beautiful, wasn't it? So here's what's to come tomorrow, guys. Let's look at day 3. It's going to be all about scaling your business and creating meaningful campaigns. These are our speakers. Well, speakers and the themes they're going to be touching upon. Very exciting stuff. And tomorrow is going to be a bit bittersweet, isn't it? I mean, we did all this cool stuff, and there's some cool stuff ahead, but then there's going to be this little tinge of sadness. But oh well. See you on the Printful Threads page or Facebook or Printful's Facebook page or our YouTube account. So that's same place, same time, 3 p.m. ET, and we'll wrap up this beautiful event. So thank you on behalf of the entire Threads crew. See you tomorrow.